Hi, this is Amy Shapiro from Mahopac Library. Today we'll be taking a tour of Google Drive, and this is the second video of the Google Apps in Education for Parents series with the aim of making either full remote or hybrid education a bit easier for you and your student. So let's get started. So what is Google Drive? Google Drive is a free and secure online storage tool. So what that means is that it's not stored on your device, it's stored on Google servers, which are like giant computers. And I like to think of it as like a locker on Google servers that only the student has a key to. It allows students to access their work and assignments from any device with an internet connection and even offline with the proper settings enabled. It allows students to collaborate using tools like docs, sheets, and if we go back to our locker analogy, that student can make extra keys to share with people they need to work with and their teachers. It also has some amazing search capabilities, so if you're prone or your student is prone to losing files and folders, this is a great thing for them. Google Drive is part of the Google Apps for Education suite, and that includes email, classroom, calendar, slides, docs, sheets, and Meet, to name just a few, but those are the most popular. So before we move on with what Drive is and exactly how to use it, we're going to discuss what we'll be working with in Drive, and that's files and folders. A file is an object on a computer that stores data, information, settings, or commands used with a computer program. Now that's easy, right? So a file is like one thing, like a key. So one file equals one key. And if a file is one key, then a folder would be a key ring. So it keeps all the files together that you want to keep together. So you might also have a ring with keys for your car on one of them and keys to your house on another. But since it's inconvenient to find both in the morning when you're trying to get ready for work, it's a little easier to put them both on a bigger key ring. So that's a folder within a folder. Instead of just storing your files and folders locally on your computer or device, you'll be able to store all of your stuff on Google's computers. And that's a good backup as well. So even if you're storing them on your own personal devices, it might be good to have some of these things backed up. For your student, though, this is going to be ideal for all of their classwork. Google Drive doesn't only hold files that are from Google Apps like Sheets and Docs. They also can hold any type of file. The dot and the 3 letters at the end after the name of the files on the left shows what kind of files they are. So seeing that little bit on the end, your computer knows what program to open them in. So these are probably the ones you're going to see most. So, Word, a JPEG file, movies, MP3 music or audio, so that's a sound file, and a PDF, which is sort of like a snapshot. The programs themselves don't get saved to Google Drive, though, just the file that would need that program to open. Google Apps can open some of the files that are written in other programs. For example, a Google Doc can open and edit a file that was written in Microsoft Word. That's all great, right? But how do we get there? So let's do that. Drive has an app available for both Google and iOS operating systems. If you want to put it on a phone or device other than a Chromebook, the Chromebooks already have all of this stuff already there. You can get to Google Drive using any browser, and an example of a browser is Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari. So Chromebooks use Chrome, probably in the name. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. But the same process will work on all browsers. You're going to start at google.com and you're going to click the blue sign in button on the right. You'll type in the student's Mahopac Central School District email address and password, and then you'll click the blue sign in button or hit enter. And now I have this zoomed in the center of what you're seeing on the right hand side of the screen. Our options change. So now we have a link to Gmail, Google Images, and the one we're actually interested in right now is the grid or a waffle. So we're going to click on that now. Generally, you'll find Drive pretty close to the top of the Google Apps. It looks like this little tricolored triangle. And if you don't see it when you first click on the grid, there's more of this menu. And you can see that because there's that little bar that shows that there's more than this screen can show. So we can scroll down to find more apps until you find the one you're looking for. Now, Drive isn't really hard to use, but it is a bit tricky at first. Remember, if you're having any trouble, you can always rewind and watch parts of this again. This is the search bar in Drive, and it lets you look for files and folders by the name or keyword. So I'm going to start looking for my sample file, and you can see that it comes up first as a suggestion. If you still couldn't find what you were looking for, though, you could click this little arrow here, and you'll be able to filter further. This Drive icon at the top of the page will always take you to My Drive, which is highlighted, and that's the default landing page for Drive. So anytime you click that, anytime you sign into Drive, this is the first place you're going to wind up. And so we have New. So the New button is actually just going to make a whole bunch of things. So we're going to look at them one at a time. So the first one creates a Google Drive folder. So how do we do that? So we just click on folder. It asks us what we want to name the folder. And then we're going to just hit create. And that has created the file. We're not going to look at where the files are yet, but I promise we will. They are also located in My Drive, but we will find them in a few moments. So the next step is you can upload a file or folder from the computer or device you're using. Now, uploading folders and files looks basically exactly the same, so I'm just going to do one right now. So we're going to click on New, and then we're going to click File Upload. And then we're going to get a window open into our computer. Now, my computer right now is a Mac, so I am seeing a different sort of Explorer window, but yours is going to look like the device that you have. Whenever you're searching for files, that's what it's going to look like. So I picked a file, and then when you click on that, you're going to see on the bottom right side, you're going to see like a progress bar showing you that it's uploading this file or folder, and then it will tell you when it's complete, and you'll be able to follow that to open the file. You can also create new files in docs, sheets, slides, forms, or other app choices. The ones that are shown right now are the ones that are the most common, so we're not going to get into any other options right now. And a new file will open directly in the app selected. So we're not going to look at that right now because we're going to look at the apps separately in the next couple of weeks. The priority folder shows items that you've opened recently or that are linked with important people or classes. Now, this is decided by Google, but you have an option to force things to show up on this priority folder as well by creating workspaces. Workspaces are a way so that you can keep all different types of files that are living in all different locations in one place. So let's say I have a need to do work file that's showing everything I need to do from all different places because I've put them all together in this one workspace. Now, that will let me go to all the things that I'm working on in one day without searching around Drive. And when I'm completed with those, I can take them out of my workspace. So let's see how we can do that. So we hit create, and then the same kind of box shows up, just showing me it's a new workspace. So I'm going to click the blue, I'm going to name it, and then I'm going to click the blue create button, and you can see in the square at the bottom that my new Google Drive video folder is there. Files shared with the student are going to appear in the shared with me folder. So that's for files shared by teachers or other students. Those will both appear there. If your student has lost something that they were working on, the best place to start your search is the recent folder. And that's going to pop in all the things that the student has been using lately, all the files that they've been working on. The starred folder is where files that have been starred or marked by the students will be easily findable. The trash folder may be self-explanatory. Now, how do we delete files in our trash folder, and what other things do we need to know? So, trash folder is where things that you have removed from your workspace will go. Now, after 30 days, they do get removed automatically. So, if you have put something in there or you find something in there that is not supposed to be there, you should take it out. So, the best way to do that is to right click on the file, and you can see I'm in the trash folder right now to do that. And you see I have two options: restore, which will put it back to the location it was, or delete forever. So if you want to put it back where it was, you're just going to hit restore. If you need to delete all of the trash in your trash folder, that's a great thing to do. Instead of making Google force them out every 30 days, you're going to be in charge of that disposal schedule. So the way you would do that is to just click on the trash. It's blue at the top of the page, right under the Google search bar or the Drive search bar. And it says empty trash. So we do that. We'll get a scary message saying that we're going to be doing a permanent action and we cannot get it back. So if you're sure, you're going to hit empty trash and that will empty the bin. So at the bottom, you'll see the storage. And that's not really a folder so much as just kind of information. So the storage shows how much space each of the files the student has in the drive in total, not just per folder. It shows how much space everything is taking. And then that piece at the bottom is showing the total amount of storage space that the student is using currently. Thanks so much for joining me, and this is the end of part 1. I actually did not realize how many slides this presentation was going to take. So the next one is going to come out in a few days. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye-bye.